Hiya everyone, just holding this up. This is a newspaper clipping from 1982, Father Hudson's Homes. One of the hellholes I was at. The headlines: Father Hudson's victims demand meeting with Pope. Former sheltered victims of a paedophile Catholic priest are demanding a meeting with the Pontificate in Birmingham next weekend. There he is, Pope Benedict. I just left the Vatican. I was on Thursday. I went there again, asking Pope Leo to come clean on the atrocities that happened to us at Father Hudson's Homes. I had some paperwork for them. They all refused to see me or speak to me. Nobody in the Vatican wanted to know me, they blanked me. So anyway, this is what I've got to say about this hellhole, Father Hudson's Homes, Birmingham, under the cloak of Archdiocese of Birmingham. Former childhood victims of a paedophile Catholic priest are demanding a meeting with the Pontificate in Birmingham next weekend. Pope Benedict flies into the country on Thursday for the first papal visit since 1982 and will host a mass in Cotton Park on Sunday. It has been reported he will meet victims of clerical sexual abuse in secret during the 4-day tour in an attempt to defuse the long-running scandal. Amazingly, Catholic Church officials had apparently struggled to find victims willing to meet the Pope in private. Rose Conley, 54, suffered abuse at Father Hudson's Homes in Coleshill, Warwickshire in the late 1950s and said she would be happy to attend any attempt at conciliation. For years, old people like me have wanted an explanation of why we were abused and why we were treated so badly, she says. I know I would be alone in saying that the victims of abuse at places like Father Hudson's Homes would love the chance to meet the Pope and discuss it with him. Although the truth is, I don't think many would be able to hold back their feelings. Another victim who didn't want to be named, added, I think this is just another PR exercise to make the Vatican look better. Yeah, you're right, 100%. They don't care about sex abuse now, and never have done in the past. Otherwise, they may have done something about it. When hundreds of reports of sexual abuse was quietly swept under the carpet. Scores of men and women have claimed they have suffered attacks while at Father Hudson's Homes from the 1940s to the 1980s. In 2009, the Sunday Mercury revealed a catalogue of shocking new allegations from 11 people about sexual, physical abuse by priests and nuns. Yet only one priest has ever been convicted of abusing children at the home. Eric Taylor was found guilty of attacking boys and girls from 1957 to 1965. He was arrested when terrified victims came forward in the late 1990s and was sentenced to 7 years jail but died in prison 2000, aged 80. The Pope has met abuse victims on past overseas trips, but public anger has been stoked in recent months by a series of new revelations of clerical abuse in Ireland and his native Germany. In June, The pontiff begged for forgiveness from God and victims in a sermon to priests in Rome. Some campaign groups have said they will attempt a citizen's arrest on the Pope over the Church's allegations of cover-ups of abuse, with several human rights lawyers arguing that he should face a trial. Meanwhile, Irish Catholics appear set to snub Pope Benedict's visit to Britain, with fewer than 1,000 expected to make the pilgrimage across the water. Some 80% of the island's population is Catholic, but the Pope is not visiting the country. Up to 65,000 people are expected to attend the Mass in Cotton Park, which will also see the beatification of Cardinal Henry Newman. Well, that's Pope Benedict. Pope Francis was notified about Father Hudson's Homes. He sent the Papal Nuncio, the ambassador to Great Britain, to visit me and two other survivors. He never got back to us. False promises, broken promises. That's one report from Father Hudson's Homes. The next one, this is triggering. Priest jailed for 7 years for abuse at orphanage. A Catholic priest who abused children at an orphanage was jailed for 7 years yesterday. Father Eric Taylor, who abused boys as young as 6 and then stood by as they were beaten by nuns for complaining, was found guilty of 16 charges of indecent assault and 2 charges of burglary. During sentencing at Warwick Crown Court, Judge Martin Coates told 78-year-old Taylor, for nearly 7 years, you were in a position of trust and authority at the home at Coleshill. These homes had been set up to rescue the most vulnerable people in our society. You told the jury the regime was harsh and the boys were beaten into an unlawful manner. Not only did you do nothing about this, but you knew the fear receiving such punishment meant that the boys were unlikely to complain. Those two who did knew their complaints would not be believed and secure is in the knowledge you indulge yourself. The lifelong damage you inflicted has been shown during the course of the trial. The trust in you abuse on a daily basis. During the 2-week trial, the jury heard of a catalogue of offences at the Father Hudson's Homes in Coleshill, Warwickshire, between 1957 and 1965. After the verdict, one jury member left the court in tears as it was revealed that Taylor had been previously fined by magistrates for abusing boys at East Vicarage in Worcestershire in 1975. Taylor of Aston-by-Stone, Staffordshire, was jailed for 7 years and on the 2 accounts of burglary and 5 years to run consecutively on charges of indecent assault. Now in their 40s and 50s, 60s as well, 70s. The 16 victims who have secured a conviction are only at the tip of the iceberg, it is believed. At least 2 orphans who were at the home to the regime committed suicide. According to Warwickshire Police, who have also revealed that 10 more former residents have come forward since the beginning of the trial. Victims told how Taylor was like the Pied Piper who was reversed at the orphanage by nuns who admired his status of a former prisoner of war, and by young boys whom he would reward with cigarettes, money and sweets. Taylor, who spent 4 years in a war camp in Austria after being captured while serving with the Royal Navy during the Second World War, arrived at the home in 1957 after being ordained 3 years earlier. He would prey on young boys as they slept in the dormitories, the court heard. Nuns at the orphanage would beat those who complained with belts, canes, wet rags and straps. Later mayors and people who complained about Taylor's activities would be forced to do chores. Taylor was denied the charges, was found guilty of 2 further charges of burglary and 1 charge of decent assault. The Roman Catholic Church last night apologised to its priests, victims. A joint statement issued by the Father Hudson's Society and the Roman Catholic Diocese of Birmingham read, "We deeply regret the effect of Father Taylor's actions, and we will be offering counselling and ongoing support as appropriate to those concerned." The Father Hudson Society has not operated residential schools homes since 1984, but ran a range of services including adoption, fostering, residential and daycare for older people and for those with disabilities. Shocking. Judge Coates told Taylor, "The boys came from all walks of life. You are a disgrace to your cloth and the church you proclaim. Your victims are not only young, but they were helpless. You were the nearest thing you had to a father figure." Well, 3 popes now. Pope Benedict, Pope Francis, Pope Leo, you know about these atrocities. And you keep on silencing us. Twice I've been to your Vatican. Come clean. Make a statement. Make a statement about child sexual abuse, clergy abuse in the Roman Catholic Church. You've said nothing since you've been in power. Us survivors, we're not going to go away. You can shun us, but we'll still keep on coming back. So,